welcome back to Greek Favorites and More. Today I'm going to be making you my favorite Lenten cake. This cake is egg-free and dairy-free. In Greece it's known as Nistisimo, which means it has no eggs and it has no dairy in it at all. So if you are intolerant to those two things, then this is a really good cake for you. It's very easy, it's all natural, it's very fragrant, it smells really nice when it's baking, and it tastes great. First off, what you need to do, you need to get your baking tin, and you're going to grease it with your oil that you're going to use for your cake, and you're going to flour it, and you're going to place it into the freezer while you're putting your cake together. And what this does is this stops the white residue that forms around the cake once it's baked and you take it out of your form. So you're going to do that first. You're going to take your baking tin, you're going to put your oil, your grease, your vegetable oil, whatever you're going to use. You're going to flour it, you're going to dust it off, and then you're going to place it in the freezer till it gets nice and chilled. And then what you're going to need to do is you're going to preheat your oven to 350 Fahrenheit, 180 Celsius. I've already done that, I'm prepared. And let me get ready and tell you the ingredients, what you're going to need for this cake. It's really delicious and I think you're going to like it a lot. First, what you're going to need is 1 cup of oil. You can either use sunflower oil, olive oil, Greek olive oil, vegetable oil, canola oil. Whatever oil you want to use, I'm using a mixture of Greek olive oil and canola oil, and this is 1 cup. So I'm going to pour that into your bowl. Make sure we get all that nice oil out. Like this. Should get all of it out. And then we're going to add in our zest of orange, your orange zest. This is 1 spoonful right here. You don't need too much because it makes it bitter. And when you zest your orange, be sure you just zest, you don't zest all the way down to the white of the orange. You just want to take off the top layer. Then I'm going to add in ½ teaspoon of vanilla extract. Be sure you use the good stuff. Get all your vanilla extract in there. And this is 1 cup of fresh squeezed orange juice. If you don't want to sit and squeeze your oranges, that's okay. You can use the bottled one, you can use the one that's in the carton, that's fine too. This is 1 cup fresh squeezed orange juice. Put your orange juice in there. And then we have 1½ cups of powdered confectioner sugar. I'm going to place this into the mixture. And then what we're going to do is we're going to whisk this all together. I'm going to whisk this all together. You see that? So it becomes kind of smoothish. You have all the little bumps are out of it. I'm going to keep whisking this. Just a couple minutes. It doesn't need that long. Keep whisking. And then we're going to add in our flour, baking powder, because this doesn't have any eggs in it, so it's not going to rise up nicely. So we're going to have to use baking powder to give it a little bit of a boost. And also we're going to add a little bit of salt in there as well. So I think this is whisked enough. And now we're going to add in 1 1/3 cups flour, all-purpose baking flour. 1 tablespoon of baking powder and ½ teaspoon of salt. And then you're going to have 1 cup of freshly ground almonds. I haven't pulverized these to the point that they're powder. I've left them a little bit so that they have a little bit of a bite to them. So when you bite into your nice cake, you get a little bit of the almond in there as well. So I'm going to add in the 1 1/3 cup flour, all-purpose flour. You just add it in. You don't have to sift it. You don't have to do anything. Add that in. And then your 1 tablespoon of baking powder and ½ teaspoon of salt. Put that in there as well. And I'm going to give this a good stir with my spatula and just incorporate it all in. And then we're going to put it into our stationary mixer here. If you don't have a stationary mixer, that's okay. You can use the handheld one, that works just as well. So you want to incorporate it all in. Don't want to use the mixer for too long because then you get too much air in your cake and that's what's going to make it hard. And you don't want your cake to be hard. So I incorporated all that in. And now we're going to add in our ground up almonds. This is 1 cup of ground up almonds. Put all those in there. Give this a nice stir again. That's what it looks like. It smells so nice. The orange and the vanilla is just beautiful. So we'll give that a good stir. And now we're going to put it into our stationary mixer for like a minute or 2. So I'm going to mix this up and I'll be back as soon as this noise is over, and we'll be right back. The cake is mixed and that's what it looks like. And we're going to place it into our baking tin. Just a little bit at a time all the way around. It's kind of thick. Don't worry about that. It's going to bake perfectly. So we're going to put it all the way around. A little bit at a time. So it bakes nice and even. And you're going to bake this for about 40-45 minutes. But I always like to look at it. Don't open the door when it's baking so it doesn't collapse. You can just look through the glass and see how it's baking. And since this cake is kind of high, you won't be able to use the toothpick test to see if it's ready. You're going to have to use a little knife to see if your cake is ready. But that's okay. Then do this. Keep going all the way around. And you're also going to be needing some extra powdered sugar to dust on top of your cake once it's complete. But make sure you don't dust the powdered sugar until your cake is completely cooled, because then it gets kind of like soft looking and doesn't look very pretty. So there we have our cake is out into the tin. We're going to pop this in the oven. I'm going to set my timer for about 35 minutes. It needs 40-45 normally, but you want to just check on it. So I'm going to set it for about 35 minutes to check on it first. Just keep an eye on it, make sure it's not burning or anything. And so we're going to pop this in the oven for, like I said, 35 minutes, but it usually needs 40-45 minutes. And then once it's cooled, we're going to dust it with our powdered sugar. So let me pop this in the oven and I'll be right back. Cake is ready. It's cooled. And I'm going to show you the knife tip that you do, so that you can't use a toothpick for this since it's so deep. You just take your knife when it's finished baking to make sure it's done and it comes out clean. That's how you know your cake is done. So I'm going to deform this and then we're going to sprinkle powdered sugar on top, see how it tastes. It's perfect. Look how perfect it is. It's beautiful. And you can see there's none of that white residue from putting the tin in the freezer when you've greased it and floured it. And now we're going to dust it with some powdered confectioner's sugar. See how it turned out. So this is your Lenten egg and dairy-free cake. You can eat it all year round. It's beautiful. The orange and the sweet almond, the vanilla, it just smells wonderful. I think it's going to be really delicious too. So let's taste it. Get a nice piece. See how it turned out. Here, a little piece. Some on your plate. Oops. Okay. Looks good. The almond, orange, the vanilla, so fragrant. Smells beautiful. Try it, enjoy it, make it for your friends and family, make it for the people you love, make it for yourself, and I hope you really enjoy this. It's excellent. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.